Richard Jefferson actually said something very interesting about running into Klay. Yeah, he ran into Klay during the All-Star game in the elevator, and look what Klay had to say to him.
I've never shared this before out of respect to Klay. Getting off the elevator Christmas Day. This is on Christmas Day.
Of this past year?
Of this past year. I get off the elevator and I see Klay. I'm like, oh, Klay, what's up? He's like, oh, what's up? I'm like, hey, man, keep your mentals right. He's like, man, tell him to pay me my money. This was on Christmas Day. So on Christmas Day, a guy that had won 4 championships, and I don't give a damn what anybody says, how much money they gave him over the years, because he turned their franchise around. That franchise is worth billions of dollars, not just because of Steph, it's also because of Klay. They changed the game. It wasn't just Steph changing the game. It was Steph and Klay in that backcourt.
Absolutely.
So I say that he has a right to be mad.
He's right.
Yep, it's Steph and Klay, Splash Brothers.
I believe in Richard
forgot about the
Jefferson's
branding. The Splash Brothers branding.
Richard Jefferson was there during Klay Thompson's early development, so I'm not surprised he's willing to open up to Richard Jefferson.
But yeah,
so that's not a surprise. I think he's right. He's right about that. I think.
Yeah, because
Klay should have got paid a long time ago. If Draymond was getting extended despite the Warriors sucking, then he should have got it too.
Yeah, and
I'm very anti like retirement contracts, but it's like, but he's the guy that kind of deserves it because I don't think the Warriors are full on at that point where they suck. Like they still have room to improve if they made the right trades, which for some reason they're very conservative on. I don't know. It's because Mike Dunleavy feels like he wants to now that Mike Dunleavy has full on control of the franchise, that he wants to build a roster that fits his ideal team.
But once again, why the hell this team has Stephen Curry and Kuminga in the same team? That's what I'm saying.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
you want to write out a
with
championship
rebuild
team.
and then one foot out with generational star. It's like choose one.
It's the same approach that he had. Man, what's the Chicago Bulls GM? Man, Krause.
No, Krause did not have that vision.
Krause, man, there was many times where his ego did feed into the idea of like, I could do without MJ.
Yeah, no, that's different. What the Warriors have done has never been done before. I'm talking about we've never seen a generational talent like Kobe, Shaq, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson playing with a second overall pick after year 10 in year 8. We've never seen that.
No,
never. The Warriors are the only team that tried to pull that off, and it hasn't worked. They just paid for it because they lost Klay. That is their penalty.
The Lakers only did it. The Lakers only did it once they knew Kobe was done off the Achilles injury. That's when they brought in D'Lo, and that's when they brought in those kind of guys. But before then, they never done it.
Yeah, but imagine had the Lakers done it a year or two after Shaq and Kobe three-peated. We'll be looking at them like they're crazy. Like, what are you doing?
We would.
You got first, second overall picks on the team. Get rid of those.
Yeah. And you have a new stadium because remember the Lakers had a brand new Staples Center right out. Like the Shaq and Kobe are ushered the Staples Center really.
Yeah, they ushered in the Staples Center, but at the end of the day, we've seen full.
It's a similar situation of the Warriors though. That's what I'm trying to get at. It's like the Chase Center is ushered in.
It's not the same situation.
How?
We're talking because no, Shaq and Kobe was over. We've never seen. We're talking about Shaq and Kobe in their prime after the 3P. Same way.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Same way. Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson, Draymond Green in 2020. They just 3P'd. They just won 4 championships. I mean, they just won 3 championships by 2018. So we're only 2 years out. Why the hell are the Warriors getting a first and second overall pick and building those guys up? That shit has never been done before. It's never been done like that before.
Yeah.
That's the exact scenario I'm talking about. That doesn't make any sense. There should never been no Kuminga project, no James Wiseman project at year 1, year 2, year 3. That shit was weird, man.
That shit's dumb.
What wasn't Wiseman? I'm not sure if Wiseman was still on the team when they won the championship in 2022.
He was. That was his rookie year.
That's what I'm saying. It's like that shit doesn't make any sense, man. That right there is what I'm talking about. We never seen Shaq and Kobe or Michael Jordan on a team with a first and second overall pick.
Yeah.
Like even if that had happened, those GMs would have traded those pieces that pick for 2 or 3 other guys that were more polished. Because that's not where they're at. They have a generational talent. They're trying to win now. The Warriors have Stephen Curry. try to win now. There is no later. Fuck later. You have Stephen Curry. He's not coming in another 20 years.
No, he's not.
Go ahead.
And the Warriors
try
will
to
never
win
find
now.
another Steph Curry. They're not. They're not finding another Steph Curry.
But
If they think Jonathan Kuminga, if you think Jonathan Kuminga, okay, let me ask you this: does Kuminga belong in the like when we talk about future of the faces of the NBA? You look at really like Victor Wembanyama. You look at Paulo Banchero, those kind of guys. You can't put you can't put Kuminga in that conversation.
He's not even close to being in there. The only reason the Warriors are
No.
considering this is because they're considering the new stadium. That's
Yeah.
it.
It's ridiculous.
They want something for the new stadium. It's very obvious. And the amount of money that they bought in, it shows you that new stadium for them, they were strategically trying to design it in a way where it was going to be the biggest revenue maker of all time in the NBA. And it proved to be correct. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yo, they almost made that year that they made the finals, they almost made $1 billion in revenue.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy. There's NBA franchises that lose $55 million a year, but yet the Warriors were able to pull out almost $1 billion.
Yeah.
$1 billion.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy. That's fucking crazy.
But I also think that's the new NBA. I think the idea of markets is dying. Like, we can talk about it later, but I think the idea of markets is also dying.
No, I don't think it's that. I think there's a new business model for having an arena.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a new business model. The new business model is the arena is not the only thing the fans interact with.
Yeah.
There's a park, there's restaurants, there's a mall. There's different ways of getting revenue besides people coming in and buying tickets to the game and getting a popcorn, a beer, and a jersey. There's a whole other side to it, and I feel like the Warriors are the first team to really effectively, using technology also, kind of utilize this.
Yeah.
Like
eventually, they're the heart of technology.
Yeah, eventually the way the Warriors have shown that they can make money, I believe it's gonna force legacy teams like the Knicks to move out of Madison Square Garden, because that whole area they're not able to compete with the Warriors as far as making revenue. There's no way they can compete.
100%.
Yeah, most teams, like even the Dallas Mavericks, they're talking about if they get a new arena, they want casinos right next to it. They want like a whole like theme park, like Disney
they want a
World.
tourist.
Yeah,
you want a tourism. Yeah, you want people.
It's not even that. It's like a whole experience. There's dining. There's everything.
Yeah. When people go to, let's say, Chase Arena, why not shop a little? Why not explore the city? It brings more money for everyone.
Or why not stay in the hotel?
Yeah.
Inside the building next to the arena that's connected. That's where they're headed towards. You could say, hey international fans, when you come
Japanese fans, come explore our city.
When you come down here, you could stay in the hotel and you could see SGA in the same night.
Yeah.
That's where they're headed.
See Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, you can see all these. Come to Minnesota, so it doesn't matter now what market they're in. Or even like if you're in Oklahoma City, hey, come from Kansas City, come from the nearby states, come from Arkansas, and then you could stay in the hotel in the same place where the arena is at and just walk to the game.
Yeah.
And then place your bets, on DraftKings or whatever it is, and then have dinner here, and you're still in the
full-on
same
experience.
area.
You're selling on experience.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, the Warriors, they've uncovered that. They've uncovered that low key. That's how they got to that $1 billion mark. They're just not selling tickets.
Yeah.
Like that shit is crazy. But again, that's why I said there's a lot of politics with Klay Thompson, the way he was been treated, and also the Warriors kind of emphasizing why they have a generational talent on their team that they're rebuilding at the same time. That shit is weird. We've never seen that. It's only a 15-man roster. Why the hell you rebuilding at the same time when you have fucking Michael Jordan of this era? You have LeBron
and why
James
are you trying to insert Pods into the starting lineup when Pods is in a starter right now?
That doesn't make. I know LeBron would be pissed. Didn't LeBron go to Cleveland and send Andrew Wiggins off?
Yeah, he did.
Exactly.
He said, "Yo, bring me Kevin Love. Bring me someone who's already established."
But the Warriors,
I don't care about this whole generational thing.
The Warriors are the only franchise that said, "Fuck it, we have that generational talent, and we're still gonna rebuild at the same time." It's never been done. It's never been done. There's some arrogant motherfuckers though. I'm not gonna lie. For them to think that
I
they could
can't
have
lie.
done that, that shit is
I'm gonna
crazy.
be honest. The Hornets really came out that trade better than the Golden State Warriors.
How so? Because they got
Josh Green.
mm,
At least they got a body back. But the Hornets are in a complete different situation too. So you have to take that into account too.
Yeah, they're in a different situation, but at the end of the day, I feel bad for Klay, man, because there was a lot of politics involved, and I feel like the Warriors could have better utilized their big three, quote unquote big three. They could have better utilized them ever since 2020. They could have got them more help. Klay probably would have took a pay cut because he's like, you know what? They're getting pieces around us to emphasize us in that Warriors dynasty championship run, but they weren't doing that.
They want me to win a fifth.
Yeah, they put was it Podziemski? They put him ahead of Klay. Meanwhile, they're battling.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's not really a big deal, but you don't see it part of the Warriors' plan that they're actually trying to best
and it doesn't help their
utilize
identity.
Green and
it doesn't help their identity.
Klay.
It doesn't help their identity. Most importantly,
yeah.
Like Pods is a new guy. He doesn't know the Warriors' identity. He doesn't know the NBA really like that.
Yeah, so it's this whole Warriors thing has been disappointing the way they I feel like they let the plans of their stadium get in the way of them best utilizing Steph, Klay, and Draymond.
Yeah.
They really let that shit get in because they're making sure that they have a product for when those guys fall on their swords, get hurt, or they're injured, or they age, and then that's it. They're making sure, hey, Kuminga, go out there. Now we're gonna sell Kuminga. Like it seemed like that was their plan, and it's like, it's very unfortunate, very unfortunate. And I think Klay was aware of that. I think Klay just peeped it. Klay was like, oh, you want me to be here when you fall on your sword while you're making a lot of money off my name? Like, it doesn't make sense. And I gotta take a pay cut, and you're not even building around me. I gotta come off the bench. It doesn't make any sense.
Let me ask you this: is this a byproduct of a new a new front office? Because Bob Myers is gone, the guy who invested a lot of years into them.
No, because he was there. He was there. He was there ever since Klay started feeling disrespected.
Bob Myers, yeah.
Bob Myers, he was there. It seems
Bob Myers left what?
This disrespect.
Bob Myers left. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he left right after the championship run.
Yeah, but the disrespect might have came way before that. Because think about it, right? Klay got hurt during the finals. Then he spent 2.5 years recovering. Who knows? The sentiment could have been, hey, you're Klay, we hooked you up. You owe us. Sometimes, because people forget, these teams are corporations. Sometimes there's very subtle things that corporations kind of tell you, but they don't directly tell you, but they kind of push off a certain sentiment. They might have put that on into Klay, like, hey, you owe us. You know what I mean? So he might have not liked that. No one would have liked that because technically they should have gave him the max anyway.
Yeah.
For all the work that he did.
Yeah. Especially like in this contract, sure, he missed 2 seasons out those contracts, but he didn't win them in NBA Finals when it mattered.
Yeah. So basically, because you could tell from the way he left, when Klay would have did a thank you letter, you know, to the fans. Oh, I thank you guys. I made the decision a day ahead of time. The way he left, it just doesn't smell that. It smells like this shit ended bad, man.
Especially.
Yeah, it ended.
Especially like considering that he's developed. Like Klay Thompson was not expected to be like a superstar. He was what, the 11th? What pick was he? Like top 15, top 20 pick?
Correct. They didn't even want him to begin with.
Yeah, they almost traded him for Kevin Love.
Yeah, it was Jerry West that kind of said, "Hey, I will resign if you guys trade this guy."
Yeah, and he was able to prove himself. He became an all-star, one of the best defensive players, and Hall of Famer, really, like in his time in the Warriors. So it's like, and you know, obviously, like his reputation, one of his greatest playoffs was 2016 when he helped the Warriors come back from a 3-1 deficit against the Thunder. So he's like, you can't talk about the Warriors without Klay Thompson.
Correct. But all I'm trying to say is that, hey, they might have made him feel like, hey, you owe us. Don't give Klay the money and then throughout the years, kind of make it seem like, oh, we did him a
They
favor.
let overset.
Yeah, we did him a favor. Don't do that, because it seems like from the way he left, it seems like something along those lines kind of happened throughout the years. It's almost like KD.
Yeah.
When KD was there, something happened within that organization. It's very passive aggressive. It's almost like, hey, you owe us. Like, we took you in. Because you even see it in the parade. What's that comment that Bob Myers made to KD? He was like, oh, but Steph was here in the beginning. Like, there's like a very passive aggressive kind of undertone that the Warriors always had. Yeah.
I feel like they pit against each other. I feel like they probably did pit, like, I mean, obviously we can't get into like TMZ kind of drama, but they probably did in the locker room pit maybe like Draymond or Klay against each other, or something like that. Because I've noticed that the Warriors don't know how to handle competition. Even something like Jordan Poole, who isn't a star, but he was one of those guys that, like, he was Warriors culture the year he was there. For the few years he was there, he was a guy drafted from the second round, built himself up to be a key contributor to their finals. So I was kind of like, it's kind of interesting how like they handled that situation, the Kevin Durant situation, and let's see because information's gonna come out on the Athletic sooner or later.
It's not even that; it's gonna come out through podcasts, etc. There's way too many mediums, and at the end of the day, how many people right now want to interview Klay?
100%. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he comes on like Paul George's program, or I don't know, whoever's his buddy. Like, he's gonna for sure talk about it.
Yeah, this is clearly a fallout. This is a fallout. Yeah. The Warriors organization throughout the years have shown that they do have agendas. Like KD, when KD got hurt, the agenda right away was, let's not say he's hurt. Let's just kind of like, they pressured KD to come back. It clearly was obvious that they knew he was leaving. They knew he was leaving in free agency, and they pressured him. They nailed him to the cross in the finals. They nailed him. They was willing to do that. The fact that they had KD go out there showed you that org was willing to nail that dude's career to the cross.
I guarantee the whole idea probably was like, oh, you're not going to be in the conversation with Michael and Scotty or Shaq and Kobe. Like, you guys are just going to be another, like, Hakeem and Clyde, or, not even Hakeem or Clyde, but like another team who just wins back-to-back. That's it.
Yeah, and also it's more like the Warriors. You could tell from the way they answered in the press conference after KD went down the first time during the playoffs. There was like, they kind of answered the questions in a way where he's coming back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're like, hey, this is it, guys. Like, KD's about to leave. We're going to make it seem like, he has a chance to come back. Because they were willing to nail him to the cross. And even when Draymond sat down with KD, he kept saying he didn't like the way the Warriors handle confrontation. They act like it didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, dude, this is the third time we've seen it so far. Like, third time we've seen it in recent memory.
It's not really a Warriors thing. It's overall a corporate thing, an organization thing.
Yeah, I mean, dude, of course, they do has a role. Yeah.
They do this all the time. And I think Klay, the way you could see this play out with Klay, there was a certain, I don't want to say level of arrogance, but there was a certain, like, hey, he owes us. You know what I mean? Like, he's lucky that we gave him that money. Like,
he's lucky we gave him an opportunity to begin with. Yeah. But dude, but like,
it's not a normal fallout. It's not a normal fallout like this. Klay, there's usually an Instagram post before the news gets announced. Look at LeBron when LeBron left Cleveland. It would have been like that.
Or even an Athletic article too.
Yeah,
like reminiscing about his career.
It's not even that. Like, there's no personal ties. There's no statement from the Warriors. It took a day for the statement from the Warriors to come out. You know what I mean? Knowing this ahead of time, there should have been there's usually a rollout. If it's really like, someone leaving and it's respectable, like both parties respect each other, there's usually a rollout. Hey, I'm gonna make a post. Then you guys make a statement. Then Woj leaks the news. That's how it normally works. That's how it worked for LeBron the second time he left Cleveland. There was a whole letter. There was a whole Players Tribune. There's like a rollout for this. The way that this shit split up, there was no rollout. There was no rollout, bro. Like, this shit was bad.
You would act like they didn't, like, he wasn't on the franchise for more than a decade,
Yeah, they act like, it was more like a split up of a guy, like you said, was on a franchise for like two years.
Yeah, like a Shake Milton kind of rollout.
Yeah.
And I think the replacement even makes it worse. Shake Milton.
And even just there was a lot of subtle disrespect, man. They been wanting to they don't want to get rid of Klay, but they were willing to trade him for LeBron, man. And LeBron, honestly, in Golden
Yeah.
State, he's not gonna elevate that team to a championship level. Let's keep
Well,
it
I
a
think
buck.
the thing is like the fan support was the reason why Clay didn't get traded a lot sooner. Where like now the fans are kind of like the fans are kind of realizing, yo, we do need to pivot and kind of invest in younger guys. It was much more easier to trade Clay Thompson.
Now we gotta talk about how we got to this point, because Klay walks away for nothing.
Yeah.
CP3 waived, so they got nothing for him. You know, Jonathan Kuminga.
Well,
The fact that they never converted on this guy yet.
Hold on, let me make one point.
Mhm.
Let me make one point quick. Instead of Chris Paul, you could say the Jordan Poole, because I think Jordan Poole is a bigger picture than Chris Paul.
I was gonna add that in too. Jordan Poole traded for no gain. Dante DiVincenzo, because the team is expensive, they were not able to re-sign him or get him for what? He went to the Knicks for $10 million a year.
And he wanted to stay. Yeah.
So there's a lot of things. I believe everything kind of starts with the Kuminga and the Jonathan Wiseman situation.
Yeah.
They should have flipped those. Those should have been flipped. There should have never been a Golden State Warriors of the future and the present at the same time. They were playing those games for a minute. Hey, we got Kuminga and Wiseman, and then we got our core guys. I don't know what's this middle thing that they were doing, but I think the stadium has a lot to do with it. Because once again, their organization. Hold on. Once again, their organization, unlike we've never seen this before. Their organization went from a regular organization making revenue like any other NBA team to making over $500 million more than the Lakers and Knicks. And that stadium is a cash cow. We cannot deny the stadium has a lot to do with this shit.
A great city in Silicon Valley. I mean, a great stadium in Silicon Valley.
In downtown San Francisco, that's where the stadium is at.
Silicon Valley, yeah. So you got people with bread coming to these games. It's not Oracle anymore.
It's not Oracle, but at the same time, there's like a game they're playing. Why hold on to Kuminga and Wiseman for so long? You know what I'm saying? They're holding on to them because they're not trying to tank. They understand that there's going to be a transition, but they thought that they could juggle the two. I've never seen this before. A team that potentially could be a dynasty, and then them trying to juggle young talent. That's never happened before.
Let me add this. Those guys are experimental developments. They're not solidified developments. Like they could have drafted a solidified player like Tyrese Halliburton, who made their team to the Eastern Conference. LaMelo Ball, who won the Rookie of the Year contest or won the Rookie of the Year that year. They could have got solidified guys on that role instead of Wiseman. Bro, but the fact is, they wanted to experiment on a young big.
But there's no such thing, bro. There's no way in hell you have Michael Jordan on your team and you have upcoming projects. There is none of that. There's either you're going all the way with Jordan and building around that, or that's it. You wait until you fall on your sword. They have Stephen Curry, a once in a generational player. Why the fuck are you developing Kuminga and Wiseman on the side?
I mean, dude,
that shit is weird. That shit.
Remember the best?
That shit only makes sense. That's why I said the organization is a corporation. They're juggling the new stadium. They're making sure that they have a product for the new stadium. It's very obvious.
Yeah. Because Steph Curry and Klay and Draymond, they're product of the Oracle Stadium. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but look, Steph is a generational talent similar to Shaq and Kobe, Jordan and Pippen, Magic. You see that you have the generational talent. All those guys I just named. Have we ever seen the next guy behind them?
But dude, let me tell you this.
Hold on. Just answer that. Yeah. Have you ever seen Magic Johnson have the next generational star in the same bench? No. Kobe, Shaq. You have the next generational talent on the bench. No. Michael Jordan. Would the Bulls even risk it trying to rebuild a second overall pick?
They tried.
No.
I was gonna bring that up. They tried with Tracy McGrady and the Scottie Pippen trade.
No, but that was after Jordan left. You never seen no T-Mac on the bench while Jordan is there. I'm trying to understand why the hell the Warriors have Stephen Curry, generational talent, and then you have Kuminga right there trying to develop him and Wiseman. That shit makes no sense.
And you're forcing Draymond to focus on being that veteran instead of trying to be like, let's win now. Like you're trying to force him to be that current, like right now, Chris Paul for those guys.
Yeah, it's just I see why Klay left. I see why
No,
he left, man. Because
they're just like the Chicago Bulls, in my opinion.
yeah,
They don't know what they're doing.
it seems like the Warriors were anticipating falling on the sword while all the guys were still there, and there was still room to actually
Yeah.
build up on the legacy.
Yeah, so like
Like,
you could still sell tickets, and you could like develop Kuminga, which is something that's way too good to be true. Because Clay is looking at Dallas, he's like, "Yo, they're having fun and they're winning," and you got Kyrie Irving, who's a friend of his, right?
mhm.
And then you kind of got like his peers are still thriving. Durant's, he's in Phoenix. They're trying to compete. They're not competing, obviously. Clippers, like you see, his peers are trying to compete. Paul George is still trying to compete. So for Clay and his ego, it's like, yo, I want to be in that same category of competition. If I retire, I can say, yo, I competed while trying to like while going to retirement full on. Like
Yeah,
he doesn't want to go that Paul Pierce route where he's just chilling on the bench and people just want to see,
he would have been
you
doing
know,
that had he went to the Lakers.
yeah,
He would
100%. The
he would
Lakers
have
is a
been
retirement home.
Yeah, he would have been doing that. The Mavs were a perfect choice.